And when Jesus arrived at Simon's house, they told him that the mother-in-law is sick. Immediately he went, took her by the hand. The fever left her, and she began to wait on them. By sunset, many have come to the door to be healed and to be driven from them in impure spirits. Today, as we said in the beginning of the Mass, the theme of today's liturgy is the meaning of suffering. And if we go to the first reading, we see that there is no hope. Job, being a man of faith but also a human like you and I, he hit the bottom and he said today, what is life? We come here just to suffer. We come here to pass these years of suffering, and then we die, and that's it. And that is suffering without hope. But then we go in the Gospel and we see that suffering has a purpose, and suffering has a hope. Jesus, without no hesitation, after the apostles has told him about the mother-in-law, he went, and even with her fever, he touched her. And he brought her to health again, so that she can wait on them, and she can do all the hospitality that was necessary for all the people that even Jesus brought with him. But we know that the whole town now comes to the house of Simon, and they want to be cured. And Jesus finds time to cure them and also to drive demons from some of them. And we know that early in the morning he went up to the mountains there to be observed or with his Father in prayer, so that he will be there praying and also asking the Father for his strength to continue the ministry that he was sent to do. As the Spirit of the Lord was upon him, he is the anointed one. He has consecrated him to bring healing, to bring so much relief, so much uplifting to many people who are going through a very hard time in life. And then when we look at our suffering, many times when we hit bottom, and sometimes those days are very, very horrible to endure them, but they come because we are not special than other people. How many times, we see tragedy after tragedy happen to the same family, and how many times we experience those tragedies ourselves, and how many times sometimes we question, where is this God who loves us? Where is this God who really is supposed to be our Father and our protector? And many times we lose hope, and sometimes we enter into despair, and sometimes even we want nobody to come and talk to us and nobody to be with us, because we don't want to see and we don't want to talk about nothing, because we have enough. Little we know that the experience of God comes to us in many different forms. The first form is that we need to understand that the caring for the sick is not something that we make a phone call. It's not that we send a card. It's not we send that we are praying for them, but we have to make ourselves present to their needs. We need to be there for them. We need to visit them. We need to bring them not words that we understand because we don't understand, but at least we sympathize, and our presence there in front of them, with them, is going to bring that healing that is so much necessary for their own souls and for their own situation that they are going through. We need to really reach out to these people. We need to be the people who, like Jesus, without no hesitation of getting the flu or being attached or being, get sick if I go there, if I do this, but reach out to the people. And reach out to the people because that is the call that we have. Not that we are going to find ourselves, to put ourselves in danger, but we need to understand that those people need us. And because they need us, we need to bring that balm, that healing that they so much need in their lives. How many times you go to people and say, can I do this for you? And the answer is no, no, no. They cannot do it themselves, but they have full of pride that they want to do it themselves because that's what they did when they were healthy. How nice it is when they let go of that pride and let other people deal with situation and help them in different areas so that they will be recovering properly and they don't overdo what's not supposed to be done. This is what really is more important in our life. Remember, one of the most important element that we are going to be judged on at the end of the journey is, I was sick and you came to comfort me. I was sick and you were there to help me. And that is really what really importance. And then what about the ministry of the church? The church comes with the sacrament of the sick. Some people have this notion about the sacrament of the sick. We do it at the very end. Oh, I don't want my mother to see the priest because she will die of frightened because she thinks it's the end. It's not anymore the extreme unction. It is called the sacrament of the sick. So it can heal us physically, but also there is the element of spiritual healing. That many times during the sickness that we go through, there is that notion of healing spiritually. When God permits something to happen to us, it's not because God wants to punish us like many people do or say. God punishes nobody. But those moments of suffering is a moment of transformation, is a moment of turning back from evil, is a moment that we really reflect on how much we depend on the Lord because we cannot do it all. And that's why we called for the priest, for the sacrament of the sick. Do not leave to the end when the person cannot benefit fully from this sacrament. We need to call the priest to come and bringing his healing, his pastoral ministry, the blessing and the paschal mystery of Christ that he brings in the sacrament. We need to bring communion to people. We need to really be there for people, to join in prayers with them, and also to help them as much as we can to overcome what they are going through. Look what St. Paul said today. St. Paul said, I was called to be an apostle not by human beings, but by Jesus Christ himself. And he called me for one reason, that I will preach the gospel, whether in good time or in bad time. I preach the gospel because I am entrusted with the gospel so that I will share with others what others are going through. So in sharing with the weak, in sharing with the strong, I may will win them for Christ. So you see, the message of the gospel is also a redeeming factor. So as we go to celebration of the Mass today, let us pray in a very special way that we will always depend on Jesus, that healer that is there next to us, reaching out to us. And many times in our desperation of life, that sometimes can be very tough, we have hope that Jesus is not going to leave us alone. Come to me, all who labor and find life burdensome, and I will refresh you. Come to me, all who are sick. Come to me, all who find life burdensome, and I will give you rest. Do we believe in those words of Jesus? Let us put them into practice. Let us really challenge ourselves to let go of sometimes of those inclinations that the body brings because of the pain of sickness and because the body brings us down because of the infirmity we are going through. And we rise up to know that there is Jesus ready with his hands to reach out to us and lift us up and bring us to healing again. May each one of us understand that as we have been healed by Jesus, we need to take that same ministry to others. Not only give me, Lord, but how much I give to others, what I receive from him so freely. God bless you.